Sorry about that. Welcome back to Live Lunch and Learn. I am your host, Lambros Demos, and today is Wednesday, January 26th, and it's also known as Bell Let's Talk Day. Corporate objectives aside, I think it's an important day because it encourages people to reach out, to talk, and to share their stories about any struggles or challenges they may have had with mental health, or maybe they're still having. My guest today has a story to share. It is a story of overcoming. It is an inspiring story, and she has been graciously and courageously sharing that story for the world in order to help people, which is her life's mission. And she has been able to turn her life around and is now doing everything she's always wanted to do. She's an inspirational speaker. She is a celebrated talk show host. She is an accomplished author. And again, she's helping people, which is exactly what she wants to do. And it's my great pleasure and honor to bring her onto the program. Please welcome Karen Carrington. Karen, are you there? There.
Good afternoon. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for being here. And when you accepted the invitation, I was thrilled.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss this conversation for the world. And as you said, it's a conversation that needs to be had. Mm-hmm. And thank you for acknowledging Bell Let's Talk Day. And you're right, every day is a day for discussion about mental health. So I commend you for that. Thank you, Lambros.
Thank you. Thank you as well. So I just wanted to touch on a couple of points that I mentioned in the introduction, especially the author part. How many books have you written?
I've written 3 books.
3 books.
And
okay.
Yes. And they all touch on mental health.
Okay.
One of them is called A Fresh Start, and that has my life story in there of my different battles that I've faced with mental health, financial breakdown, divorce, a lot of things that I've had to overcome. Okay. The other one is called Shame Over, and that's a conversation for men's mental health. Okay. And the third one is a free ebook, and it's called Pandemic to Peace, because I do believe with everything that we're going through, peace is something that we seek and we desire and we deserve.
That's beautiful. I really like that. I'll have to read that one as well. I did read A Fresh Start, and it moved me. I can tell you it was very powerful. And I just have to say that I don't know how you found the courage to write that book, because you had to, I guess, relive all those moments, of trauma in your life, everything that happened to you. And not only did you have to relive them, but now you're sharing them with the world. So you're making yourself vulnerable. So how did you make that decision to do that, to put it out there?
That's a great question. I realized that people were asking me about my story when I first shared it on the news. And I realized, oh, great, my story's out there. There's no turning back. And I wanted to be able to reach as many people as possible. I'm a firm believer that revealing is healing. And so to put that in a book so that it could reach the world, and, it has been in different countries, sold in Russia and Germany and Italy and in the Caribbean and Africa. That was my goal, was to have this story touch other people, because I understand that once you share your story and you share your story, people say, oh, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
We think we're going to be judged when we share these types of stories, but it's the opposite. People can relate and they want to share their story. But you are right. It was really hard to get in that headspace and be able to relive those traumatic experiences. So what I had to do was get on a plane, because it was so distracting here. I deal with general anxiety disorder. And so I have anxiety. I get, really easily sidetracked and I worry about things. So I got on a plane, flew to Florida, and I sat under a palm tree for days and days. And I just wrote from that place of peace.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And one of the things you mentioned in the book, I think, I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but it's something about, sharing sharing your story. People don't want to share their story because they're embarrassed, or they think they're going to be stigmatized or judged or something like that. But I think it's the opposite. I think it takes a lot of courage, and just some fortitude to be able to come out and say this stuff. So I commend you for not only saying it, but writing a book on it and sharing it with the world, and
Thank you for
helping people in
saying
the process, right? Which I believe is your life's mission, correct?
it is. It is. It is. If the story touches one person, then my mission has been complete. And you said something that was so important about your fortitude. And you're right. In the book, I said, don't make your story your fortress, but make it
Mm,
your fuel to energize you.
that's
And
it.
every time you share the story, because I believe we all have a story,
Yeah.
it gets easier. It gets easier. It gets easier.
Okay.
Right. And I believe that for me, sharing my story of general anxiety disorder, I did think that I was going to be stigmatized, perhaps, with friends, family, being a woman of color. I'm a Black woman. And so culturally, it was challenging to share, what are people going to think about me, and being in the workplace, and will they understand? And I was away. I took time away to get better. But for those of you who may not know what general anxiety is, it's just this excessive worry. So I didn't think anything was wrong. I just thought I was being a concerned
Yeah.
mother, friend, sister, back then wife. But there's something called worry.
Yes.
And then there's excessive worry where it really limits your daily functions.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's not just about worry. Because people hear anxiety, say, "Oh, everybody's anxious," but it's much, much more than that, right? Because it not only affects how you think, it affects how you behave, it affects your job, your life, your relationships, right? Everything. It can totally destroy you, even physical. Like, it can make you feel sick, right? It can cause things like IBS, and who knows what else, other things it can cause. So, I mean, how did you go from that point there? Was there a specific turning point for you, to what you are now? I mean, and what you're doing now? You were able to do a complete 180?
Yeah, I think the turning point was when I finally decided to get help. I
Okay.
finally decided to get help. And sometimes we reach our darkest place before we do that. And that's exactly what happened. I reached my darkest place and realized I can't get worse than this. It can't.
Yeah.
And like you said, relationships were compromised. My mind was compromised, my finances. It couldn't get worse.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned also just the symptoms that I was facing. I knew something wasn't right.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't. And if it's okay with you, I want to share a piece that answers that exact question that you asked
Absolutely.
me.
Absolutely. Go
I'm
ahead.
going to share exactly what that turning point was.
Okay.
It's here. I was on an anxiety high every day and couldn't get off the roller coaster ride. I battled with this mental war for years about my relationships and my friendships and the stresses at work. I tried to deal with all the anxiety and tried to maintain the illusion that I was okay and that I could manage as an employee, a mother, a wife, and a friend, and to be a strong person. Yet I continue to live in fear, the fear of not being good enough, the fear of never being loved or validated. My mind was constantly in disarray and turmoil. I took several extra strength pills every day to decrease my migraines. I rarely slept. I lost over 30 pounds. I suffered from major digestion issues and my hair was falling out. My sweat glands were even surgically removed because I sweat so much due to anxiety. I had cold, tingling hands in my feet, shortness of breath, constant muscle pain, and the inability to sit still or calm. It got so bad at times, I had no clue what I was even worried about. I would just draw a blank and lose my memory about what was worrying me. My thoughts were like clouds. So on one day, I finally had a severe panic attack. I got in my car, I drove in the parking lot, I sat outside my family doctor's door for over an hour, gripping the steering wheel. I took a deep breath and I finally got the courage to walk in. I slowly opened my mouth and I whispered to the receptionist, "My name is Karen Carrington and I need help. My name is Karen Carrington and I need help."
Wow.
I think it was those words.
Yeah.
And then having the trust for the receptionist to take it from there, to realize that I didn't know what to do from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that darkest point, being in the parking lot, sitting there for an hour. I knew that if I entered that doctor's office, there was no turning back, that I had opened up myself to needing help. And sometimes the mind doesn't want help because it knows it has to get better.
That's right.
We feel comfortable staying in those places of suffering and victim and misery. It's comfortable to stay there. I was scared knowing that I would have to do the work. And you know what I was scared of, Lambros? What if it didn't work? What if I opened myself up to everyone and everything and it didn't work? I would think I was a failure.
Did that thought cross your mind when you were sitting in the car?
Yeah, it did, because everything else in my life up until then, I had categorized as I'm a failure.
Yeah.
You know, nothing else is working in my life. And that's what anxiety is. It's catastrophizes.
Sure.
It's very extreme. I'm a complete failure.
Yeah.
We say things to ourselves, I'll never make it. I'm unworthy. I'm broke.
Yeah.
I'm unattractive.
Yeah.
I can't get it together.
Yeah.
So what makes me think this will work for me? Right? And so, but then that little voice in my head said, there's hope. There's hope. God planted that seed of faith, and there was hope. Yeah.
And I, for one, I'm so happy you listened to that voice, and that you didn't listen to another voice, I'm sure, was telling you to just drive away, go home. You know, this is silly. This is not going to work. Something like that, right?
You got it.
So I'm grateful that you did that. And look at you now. You mentioned you were diagnosed with general anxiety disorder. How are you managing that today?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I was diagnosed back in 2007,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot of work, months and months of rehab, and there were some relapses in there. So I would be doing better. I'd be doing things like cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's where it was really interactive work. It was really the doctor putting me in society and facing my fears. It was very behavioral.
Okay.
Oh, I think I'm a failure. What proof do you have, Karen, that you're a failure? Oh, when I go to the grocery store, I can't make a decision. I'm in there for hours going up and down every aisle, and everyone's staring at me like I'm an idiot. Lambro, sometimes I'd have the cart.
Yeah.
I would leave it in the middle of the aisle and it's run out. I couldn't make a decision, and I thought everyone was staring at me.
Yeah.
So the doctor had me do therapy.
Yeah.
Go buy the stuff. Ask the cashier, is anything I'm doing strange? Now that's a scary question to ask. Right? But I had to do it for the exercise. Is anything I'm doing strange? Of course, their answer
literally
was,
asked that question to the cashier.
that was the exercise. Is anything I'm doing? So it's challenging my belief.
Yes.
Is anything I'm doing strange? Of course, the answer was
No.
no.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm not an expert, but if anybody asked me that question, or most people would say no anyways, because they don't want to say, yes, you are strange. Or even if they did notice something that was strange, which I doubt they did, but
Right.
just saying.
But you know what? I had to keep on asking that question is, do I look like I'm not competent, or to people?
Just for validation that you
that I was challenging the thought.
Yes. Yes.
And you're right. And I asked it with some people that were honest with me. Actually, today, Karen, you do seem a bit anxious. Oh, thank you for that feedback.
Okay.
So it became factual and not just based on my imagination.
Yeah.
So the therapy was to really challenge your thoughts. And I'm not recommending people do that. I was brave enough to do that.
Right.
There's easier steps to do that. So if you're afraid of spiders, start looking them at online, start watching videos, start reading books. But bottom line is, you don't go around your fears.
No.
You don't suppress them. You go through them. So if you're scared of an elevator, what we tend to do, because you're scared with anxiety, we take the stairs.
Yeah.
Easy solution.
Yeah, and it works for children too. I remember when I was about 7 years old, I was afraid of dogs. And what did my mother do? She brought home a dog, and I instantly bonded with the puppy. And ever since then, I'm a dog
right.
person, right?
Because you face fear. The dog.
That's it. Yeah. So
just go in the elevator, and if it's not for you, do it again and do it again and do it again. But you faced your fear, right?
Yeah. Amazing. So thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. And one of the parts I love about the book is the self-care acronym. So, I mean, I'm all about acronyms. I love them, but it goes deeper than that. It's just everything that you're suggesting that we do as self-care. It's so real and so true. And I took it to heart literally. So I finished reading the book last night. And as I mentioned off air, I had a salad for dinner because that's part of it, eating right. This morning, I woke up earlier than usual and went for a swim. Exercise is the other E in self-care. So if you don't mind, just quickly go through some of the acronym there.
Yeah, I will. Definitely. I'm going to bring up that acronym. You're like me. That's what I love about you. You and I are just always so we're always so in sync. Self-care is, because people might be asking, hey, Karen, I deal with anxiety too, or what are some of the things that you do? And yes, it is self-care is maybe will not help you get over your anxiety, but will certainly help you manage the anxiety. So the S in self-care, we're going to start there. And that stands for saying no. And so people that struggle with anxiety often want to please people. We're afraid that we're not going to be liked if we're not saying yes. So we say, yes, because we want to feel validated and accepted.
Yeah.
And we're anxious. What is, Lambros, if I say no to you, what are you going to think about me? You're not my friend anymore. So I'll say yes. But then that emotionally depletes me because I'm saying yes to everything and everybody except me. So the S is say no. Guys, I want you to be able to say no, and not only say no guilt-free. There's no point saying no and then overthinking it. Oh, guilt-free, and let it go. And don't forget, no is a complete sentence. You could say no. You could also take time to think about it, then say no, or offer another solution. I can't, but I know someone who can.
Beautiful.
Okay. That's a way to say no.
I like that.
The E is for exercise. Like Lambros just did, exercise, up early in the morning.
Just makes you feel so much better. So, yes.
And whatever works for you, whether it be morning or evening, get exercise in there.
Yeah. Not only physically, but mentally makes you feel better too.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
And I know the hardest thing is to get up and get started. Like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's never promised. Do it today. Okay.
Absolutely.
The L stands for logging off. Now, you don't want to log off now because we're live. So stay with us, right? So not now, right?
That's right.
But the L is for logging off.
True.
And that means sometimes we just take in so much, the emails, the texts, the social media, pictures, log off.
Absolutely.
Take an hour, have a certain time, log off, and do something else. It can really be overwhelming.
Yeah.
You can even log off for a week and have a mental health social media detox.
Absolutely.
They're so healthy. And you're not going to miss anything. Don't worry. F stands for finances. Wow. What does finances have to do with self-care? Sometimes when we're dealing with anxiety or mental health, depression, we overspend. We're shopping. We're doing retail therapy.
Yeah.
And then now you see your credit card bill is out the roof and you're Anxiety is even worse. Your depression, you feel like a failure. You overspent. You know, watch your finances and get
Yeah,
them in order. Yeah.
absolutely. Finances are one of the main things that lead to relationships breaking down, divorce, this
Yes.
kind of thing, family breakdowns. They
Yes.
can destroy people, right?
Yes.
So that's critically important for finance.
You got it. I love that you said that.
Yeah,
And it could destroy yourself.
sure.
And also, I'm going to come from anxiety perspective. Sometimes when we know we've overspent, now we have anxiety looking at the outcome. We don't want to log in and see the balance.
Yeah,
Face the fear and deal with it.
yeah,
Okay. And then where are we? We are now on C, stands for commitment.
okay.
Stay committed to your choice. If you exercise for the week and you stop a couple days, don't worry. Every day is a fresh start. Get back on it. It's okay, but stay committed.
Okay.
And I'll add one C to that, and then celebrate yourself. Celebrate
I like
every
that.
day.
Yes.
Every win matters. And then the A stands for affirmations. Affirmations are key for your mental health.
Yeah.
And don't just say them in the mirror.
Okay.
Look at yourself and say it in the mirror. The brain also knows when you're saying something that's not true. There will be a disconnect. So I need you guys to believe it when you're saying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Believe it when you're
People don't
saying it.
realize how powerful our own words can be. Because even things like, "Oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, why did I do this? Oh, I'm so dumb." These can just stay in your mind, and your mind actually, like, I'm not a doctor or anything, I'm not an expert, but I know it reacts to
Yes.
things that you say, even internally, right?
Yes.
So if you wake up in the morning and it's like, I don't feel good today, your brain is going to try and find reasons why you're not feeling good, right?
Yeah,
As opposed to the
exactly.
opposite, it's like, oh wow, I feel great. You get up and then you think of all these reasons that you're grateful for or you're thankful for, and reasons why you should feel great, right? So
You got it.
your mind is very, very powerful.
And we have 50,000 thoughts a day.
Yeah, sure.
Imagine you believed every one of those thoughts to be true.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
They're not. You have to filter out the thoughts that are untrue and know what's not for you and what is true and challenge them. Like we talked about earlier. Is this true? Am I dumb? Am I stupid? What proof do I have that I am?
Yeah.
Is that my thought? Has anyone said that to me? No.
Certainly. Like you wouldn't say that to somebody else. Like,
No. So why?
So why are you saying it to yourself? Right. So a lot of people don't make the connection that way.
No, they don't. And so I do say in chapter 5, lesson number 5, I say, don't believe everything you think. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah.
So let's challenge those thoughts. R stands for relax. For those of us that suffer with anxiety, the word relax. What do you mean relax? Like, yo, relax. We fill our plates with billions of things to occupy ourselves, and we're always moving fast and speaking fast and thinking fast.
Yeah.
It's okay to relax. It's important to relax.
Yes.
Candles, whatever you need to relax, whether it be deep breathing, meditation. I purposely moved by the harbor front. I live right by the harbor front on purpose because I need that time to just walk away from everything and sit by the water and reflect and relax. So put yourself in positions where you have access to relaxation. It doesn't have to be an expensive massage or a spa day.
No.
Relaxing could be your favorite song.
But I think it's important that it's a routine, right? So not just once in a while have a massage, but it has to be daily. Like build it for routine.
Thank you. Very well.
My relaxing time.
You got it. And you know what? When you go for that massage, when you leave and they say, when do you want to rebook? Rebook on the spot. So it becomes a part of your lifestyle. And let's stop thinking massages are luxury. And it's so many emotions come out when your muscles are being manipulated.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot comes to the surface.
Very therapeutic. Actually, a little known fact,
Tell me.
before I got into real estate, I was a registered massage therapist. So I know all the benefits of massage, believe me.
Now I know why you're my good friend. Okay. Woo! Another perk from Lembros. Awesome. Then you know that you would, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but for me,
Yeah,
when I would get my massage, I'll be honest,
yeah.
sometimes tears would come out.
Sure, sure. I've had clients cry on the table as well. Yeah, when they,
Okay, I needed to hear
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Because
So it's very common. It's very common.
so it's
It is very,
physical, yeah.
yeah. It's there's such a release when you're having the massage, right? And because your physical body is so connected with your emotional self, and right, so they're definitely that's very normal.
Okay, good. I'm normal. Check. Good. Okay. Yes, yes. And the other E stands for, just like Lambros was saying, eat well. I know it's so easy to just, when we take away something out of our life, if you
Yeah.
lose a loved one or you lose your job or you lose, a lot of money, we want to replace it with something else. And that might be food,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But let's just be mindful of what we're taking into our body.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel so crappy when I eat crap.
Well, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right.
That's
And
what.
how did you feel after your salad for dinner last night?
Oh, I felt great. I felt great. And this morning I felt great. You know,
Yeah, it's lighter. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
later,
yeah.
it just I felt had more energy. So
Yeah.
I think it was yeah, it was a great choice.
Good for you. Good for you. And and some of us might be thinking, what do I eat? I don't recommend, maybe those fad diets or whatnot.
No.
Just eat to be healthy.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
as long as everything on your plate looks like the rainbow, have every color.
Yeah.
If it's really colorful, that's what I aim
Yeah.
for my salads.
No, I'm glad
Yeah.
you brought that up. And again, I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that. But it's important. Again, it goes back to routine. It's a lifestyle thing. It's not a fad
Mm,
diet. You're not going to get healthy or lose weight by going on a yo-yo diet, because I mean, generally it bounces back, right? So make choices in your food, and incorporate them into your life. So have a salad, have greens, have different colors like you mentioned, right? From the four food groups if you can, right? Just a balanced, healthy diet, and limit the just the fatty stuff and the sugars and
you got it. And your water
water.
intake.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then just be mindful of unhealthy addictions.
Yes.
I just want to really, really make sure that that was said, is that it's really easy to mask pain through over excess, maybe in alcohol or drug usage, or, watching certain things online that may not be so appropriate for your mindset, right? Let's just be mindful of what we're taking in to self medicate. Just be mindful of those things
Yeah.
and know that replace them with water, affirmations, exercise, and reach out to someone that you feel safe with. As you said, it's Bell. Let's talk to. There's so many people out there that can help you.
Yeah.
There's so many organizations. You're never, ever, ever alone.
No, never. And it's never too late either. As our good friend Wayne Mullen used to say, it's never too late. You can always turn your life around. You can
Oh,
always do those things, right? So,
amen.
for those watching, one last question for you, Karen. I know we're almost a month into 2022, but how can the people watching today make 2022 their best year ever?
Mm, I
Oh,
love that question. No, no, thank you. Because yeah, you know what? That's why this book isn't just called A Fresh Start,
yeah,
but it's called 111 Affirmations to Make This the Best Year Ever and Create the Life You Want. So,
beautiful.
what I'm going to leave you with is one thing that will make it the best
Or just
year.
buy Karen's book and read it.
Yes, yes. Is I'm going to leave you with affirmation number 85.
Okay, beautiful.
And that is, I release what no longer serves me. So that's what I want you to really practice, is not necessarily doing something to make this the best year ever, but releasing something to make this the best year ever. whether that's a person, a bad habit, toxicity in your life, to make 2022 the best year ever. Release what no longer serves you.
Love that. That's beautiful. That's great. So for people wanting to contact Karen, the best way is through your website, I guess?
Correct. www.karencarrington.com.
Okay. Yeah, I left out the www, but it's
That's okay. Yes.
.com.
Put my name in there. You'll see my face. Trust
Absolutely,
me.
yeah.
I'm findable on the internet.
Yeah,
yes. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for having me. I love these lunch and learns that you do. They're so informative. I love watching them.
Thank you.
You're a wealth of knowledge. Your guests are a wealth of knowledge. I think it's really important to have these, a place where people can come and whatever they get from them. I know I've learned a lot from them. So thank you so much for having this platform and for continuing to do the work that you do.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for saying that. I love you for saying that. That's awesome. And you're welcome back anytime, Karen. I'd love to have you back on the show.
I love you. Thank you.
Again. And thanks everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.